Hi guys, I'm Bex from Trista and I'm here with Sean, who is the creator of Descending Outlands. This looks like a rather awesome space adventure.
It is. You are quite correct on that assumption.
That's the right place to start. So far you've got one complete arc of the Sog Out.
Yes, so whole 5 issues all done now. Not that long ago, I think the 5th issue was only released about 2 months ago. It's been about 4 years since I started it, and it seems like a long time, so I'm glad we've reached the end in a way. So I can kind of put all that together, release it as one issue, and then move on to another saga.
That's awesome. So this is a growing, expanding universe.
Yes, I wanted it to be epic in size, and unfortunately, as a lot of independent people start out, we don't have the budgets, and so we have to kind of start smaller and build on it. And as it's kind of grown, so has my imagination and everything I actually want to do. And so I've just got so many ideas. So now that that's completed, it now gives me more finance and more range, more contacts to actually move on to another saga.
So can you give us a bit of a rundown of the plot without too many spoilers?
Yes, so it's a group of rogues, a space, obviously. It's kind of a space cowboy kind of a thing. They end up on a heist, and they kind of bite off more than they actually bargain for, really. So they end up stealing a package, and inside is something that a corporation known as the Fountain want, and as such hunts them into the Outlands, which are planets on the outer edge of the system. And then kind of as they progress, more kind of heists and chaos kind of happens until a final climax between the Fountain, a mysterious person in the background, and the crew themselves. Mysterious person in the background.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Almost gave too much away. It's like veer
it's good.
off, veer
it's
off.
non-spoilery. It's good, just enough to let people know that this is actually quite awesome sounding.
Thank you.
I really do have to say it looks beautiful as well. It's clear you put a lot of love into the artwork for this.
I actually had to find multiple artists for it. So I write and I colour, which kind of keeps it all together. But actually, artist-wise, each issue ended up with a different artist, and as such, you'll see I've split each issue down into chapters so that I can introduce each artist, and it doesn't kind of grate as you suddenly change from one to the other. But as it's progressed, I've kind of found artists that fit my style more. And also Chris Imber from Reckless Hero has been nice enough to do all the covers for them as well, which gives them a nice consistency. So
yeah, the covers are gorgeous. The colours are. I mean, I'm a graphic designer by trade, so I'm always like, oh, look at the beautiful paper. Look at how nice the colour saturation is.
Really?
And it makes a difference because comics are very tactile. When you have printed comics, which is how I usually tend to read them, I love the paper quality to be good, and I think it makes a massive difference.
Definitely.
It feels like, one of the big name companies has put this out, and it's really impressive you've achieved it.
Well, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that actually everything I created looked as professional as I could. It's the first time I've actually tried to write something, so I kind of figured, wow, if it's rubbish, at least I can make it look good. And luckily from reviews I've had, it's not turned out to be rubbish, so I'm quite happy about that.
It's an interesting sales pitch.
I'm rubbish by my stuff, but luckily it's not.
It's not rubbish, and I'm here talking to you because other people here in Comic Village at MCM have told me that this is an amazing comic and that you are lovely, so that's why I'm here talking to you. So everyone else is doing that sales pitch for you, and that's proof you're doing good work.
Yeah, no, I have to say the reviews I've had from it are better than I ever could have hoped for. As I said, I kind of started off not really knowing what I was doing, and it's been 4 or 5 years in its creation, and by the end, the feedback I've had from people that have bought it, people that keep coming back and buying it again, from other people in the industry, it's just really nice and heartwarming, really.
So what were your kind of influences? You're obviously a sci-fi person. I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark there.
Maybe, yeah. I just kind of like fun things, and I always kind of get drawn to space. So around the time it was when your Stargates and Firefly, that kind of stuff was ending on telly. And you had Guardians that had kind of just started off, and I kind of felt I wanted more of that, and I couldn't find what I actually wanted to watch, so I thought I'd make my own, really. So it was to fill the void that I felt from all of that stuff that was being cancelled around about the same time.
So you were watching sci-fi from a young age then?
Yeah.
Sci-fi and adventures.
Exactly, and many a time running around the garden with Lego, making kind of Star Wars spaceships. And
I still do that. Is that not normal?
No, it's still normal. It's good.
That's good. Thank you for lying.
No, I still fight with my brother, who's 7 years older than me, about who owns the Millennium Falcon.
Well, the answer is me.
Yeah, it's me.
It's me.
It's you. Okay.
It's me.
You can take it.
Please post it to my house. But looking at some of the other artwork you've got here, there's a lot of influences. You're obviously a fan of a lot of things. One particular art piece seems to have every reference from my childhood on it there. You've got Transformers, Inspector Gadget hiding in the background.
Guilty as charged. I am a person of nostalgia, basically. I'm still 16 inside as much as I'm approaching 40 very, very fast. Yeah, so as such, I love anything like that. And that's why I kind of decided to try and get an amalgamation of anything from my childhood, basically. So yeah, it's got Lost Cities of Gold in there, it's got He-Man, it's got Mask Crusaders, all of that kind of stuff linked together. And also, it's just as a colorist, I don't just want to colour just artwork that's just out there. I want to try and create pieces, and if I can't do it myself, I can ask artists to create my vision, and then I can colour it. So it kind of jumps over that hurdle.
Yeah. It's an interesting collaborative process because you're writing, and then you're working with your artist to do the drawing, and then you're jumping back in for the colouring?
Yep.
It's an unusual process. Not many other people do that.
Yeah, it goes slightly insane. I've got a twitch that occasionally, happens.
Yeah, but, I wasn't going to say anything.
But no, it's really good. I mean, you kind of do that writing, and then you have to explain it to the artists, and then try and feedback. And each one is very different. And yeah, trying to then get into that colouring, because everything you colour, I find you kind of have to almost alter it to the style you're colouring. And as each artist is a different style, it's really hard to try and keep it the same, but I have to, because technically I'm the one thing that keeps the consistency between every issue.
I mean, the issues look amazing,
well,
the artwork looks gorgeous, you've got a clearly strong vision and plans for more in the future as well.
Definitely, so now this is out of the way, I want to kind of work on the next saga. So more of Descending Outlands. I've always got the first issue in my head, chugging away. But then also kind of work on some other comics. I want to try and go down and do some fantasy ones as well, and just trying to give some variation, so it's not just space as much as that's kind of where my heart tends to go.
You can have adventures in space, you can have adventures in mystical lands, you can have adventures everywhere.
Exactly.
That's part of the fun of fiction, is that you can just write whatever you want.
It's a world of adventures. It's like Chessington.
Don't put that on the covers. It's a bit like Chessington, but in space.
Okay, I'll just scratch that off.
I'm sorry, I've ruined your whole marketing plan.
I have a marketing plan?
We'll pretend you do. You do. You were just telling me
no,
earlier.
I know.
So you have a Kickstarter plan where you're going to have some beautiful 3D printed versions of your characters as well.
Definitely. So I just want to do so much with it, and the problem is just time more than anything else. So now I've got the issues done. The plan is this year to merge that into a single issue, which then using Kickstarter to actually just fund the printing and the postage costs. That way you remove the risks from the kind of punters who don't want to just gamble their money. And then from that, I've been hiring 3D artists who will actually then make the characters themselves, which is, it's more just like the Disney Infinity characters, basically, just kind of quite nice. At the moment, these are just purely for my own ego and amusement, really. But then the aim is that there'll be rewards on the Kickstarter, and I've had so many people that have asked, whether they can buy them to colour them or just to put them on their mantelpiece and stuff. So, yeah, I will look to get them done as well. I think I've had a lot of other creators here that have asked me so they can do it for their comics as well. So I reckon there'll be a lot more of these coming out soon with all the ease of 3D printing.
Yeah, the joy of 3D printing is that you can make small runs of these awesome things now as well.
Yeah,
can you give me a little rundown of each of your main characters?
Yeah, so the main character, I can actually do this visually with this. So the main character is Nate. So I don't want to give too much away with it, but he's kind of your stereotypical character from these kind of worlds. He's like your amalgamation of your Malcolm Reynolds, your O'Neill, your Han Solo, the kind of shoot first, ask questions later. Doesn't really care, but equally cares deeply about what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And there's a kind of a mystery behind him as that kind of goes up. He's not quite as young as he seems.
Okay.
And then he's got his kind of best friend, the guy that is kind of the muscle, which is Coleridge, who is the man that has been with him the longest. He's got his back and would literally die for him. Within that, you've got a variety of other crew members. So there is, to go through them each one at a time. There is Gideon, who is the actual mechanic of the ship, and kind of sorts that out. And then you've got Church, and Church himself is the pilot, but where he's different is he's actually kind of jacked into the ship itself. So his mind is kind of fractured. He has to be connected to the ship, which in order to kind of piece it together. So his logical mind is in the ship, and without being connected, he's a little bit out there because he doesn't he goes a bit more on raw impulse. So he's kind of always got to be jacked in for that one. And then you've got Nicola, who's kind of the medical aspect of it. So and together they kind of argue, as they tend to, but they work and have each other's backs all the way through it. So that's the kind of main crew itself.
Yeah. And your antagonists in this being a big, dark, scary corporation.
Yep. So the corporation itself is the Fountain. And as ever with these things, they seem to be good, but are not so good. So they are kind of like the power station, I suppose. They generate energy and life for all of the systems. And the Outlands themselves are the planets that are furthest away from that don't get all of the luxuries, get all the power. And as such, they're a little bit more rough around the edges. And that's kind of where our crew have to hide out away from the influence of the Fountain.
Yeah, sounds like quite a big and epic universe you're putting together here.
I know.
Very, very impressive and ambitious.
That was the main thing.
It's good. I mean, I noticed these from the other side of the room. The colours are gorgeous, like I said, and the artwork really, really stands out. And it sounds like it's absolutely a lot of fun to get involved in this world. Yeah. And if people would like to check out your comics, apart from meeting you here at Comic-Cons in the awesome Comic Village, have you got a website where they can find you?
Yep. So I've got the actual main website for all of my colouring, which is evilcat.com. That is cat with a K.
That's an amazing URL.
I know.
I'm sorry, you could have just started the pitch with that. This is my URL, and I would have been like, take my money.
Yeah, that's it. So evilcat.com is the best place. But there's also descendingoutlands.com, which is specific for the actual saga itself. And then the normal kind of Twitters, which is @Dobes2. And there's the Descending Outlands Facebook page and Instagram as well. So
awesome. All of the socials. I will put links to all of those in the description down here somewhere. Thank you very much for talking to me. It's been absolutely awesome. And thank you for guys joining us. And hopefully you will get to enjoy the world of Descending Outlands with us.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.